Alright, I'm going to make a very quick summary of what the robot assignment should look like. This is just an example. I expect that your robot will look different from mine, but there's two basic things that we've covered in class that we're going to use and practice while making our robots. The first is like a hinge joint, and the other is a ball and socket joint. So let's get started. First, I'm going to model my basic robot body on the top plane. Let me hide the other planes. And I like to start with a center line, so I'm going to use just a construction line. And I'm just going to make it vertically aligned here. And then let's go ahead and dimension this so I have a frame of reference for how large my robot is. I'm going to make this 100 millimeters. And then I want to make this coincident. Let's do the midpoint of this line attached to the origin. Alright, so this is going to represent the height of my robot when it's finished, so this will be the head and the bottom. Alright, so I'm going to just freehand sketch half of the body. I like to do that so it's nice and symmetrical on both sides. So I'm just going to do the right side first. So imagining the head is up here, I'm going to start the body about right here. Maybe down here. And then I'm going to intentionally make a little cutout where my leg is going to go. I want this to be aligned horizontally. So that's my basic shape here. And just so I have a frame of reference, I'm going to dimension these. So I'm going to go ahead and make these all 10. So that will be 10, and then this will be 10. And this is a little too small here, so let's go ahead and make that a little bit larger. I'll make it 3. That looks good. Maybe this will be a little bit smaller. Let's make this 3 as well. Okay, so here's my basic body. Now I want to make a leg that fits inside here. And I could either make a rectangle, place it in here, or freehand sketch. I'm going to choose to offset these lines to begin with. So I'm going to use the offset tool. This is all just part of sketching process. So I need to reverse that, and then I'm going to zoom in and reduce the space here. Make it, let's do 1/2 millimeter. I want to also do that line and this line. So that gets me started on a leg, and I have a 1/2 millimeter clearance all around the sides. So I'm done with that, so I'm going to press enter to accept that. Now I just need to extend these legs out. I'm just going to use some lines here. And I want this leg to go all the way down to the bottom here. I'll do a little bit shorter than that. I want to be vertically aligned with that line, and then attach it here. Oh, that was the wrong line, wasn't it? I may have attached that to the wrong line. That looks slightly slanty. So let me go ahead and show constraints. Did I align that horizontally? That looks good. So here's my leg. That's a closed shape. You can see now that it has a shading to it. So I could extrude that. I need to mirror my body so I can also extrude my body. So I need a mirror. I'm going to select the mirror line, which is the center line, and then choose the items I want to mirror. Now I have a closed shape here that I can extrude. I'm going to accept my sketch for now and go ahead and extrude these parts. So I'm going to use the extrude option. I'll do the body first. And I want to make sure that this is symmetric up and down. And then that's a little thick of a body. I'll do, let's do 15 millimeters, see what that looks like. Let's do 10. Okay. And then I'm also going to, so click the check mark for that, that's the body. And I'm going to extrude the leg and make that a little bit less. Let's go symmetric and have this be maybe 8. No, let's do 8. It's a little bit smaller than the body. So those are my 2 basic solids there. So the next thing I'm going to do is model actually 2 cylinders. One is going to be attached to the body. The other one is going to be used to subtract a hole inside the leg. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to be drawing on a new plane. I'm going to use the side here as a reference point. So I'm going to go ahead and create a sketch and click on this face for my plane. So now I can sketch along that plane. I'm going to draw just a simple line here and make sure that it's 10 millimeters. If you remember the previous sketch, we made this opening 10 millimeters. So that's 10 millimeters this way and 10 millimeters that way. So at the midpoint is where I'm going to place my first circle. So I'm going to grab a circle tool, the midpoint there, and let's go ahead and make this one 5 millimeters. This will be the larger one. I'm done with this sketch for now, and I'm going to extrude it. So I want to use the extrude. I'm going to extrude both halves of the circle. And I want to extrude it the opposite direction. And I'm going to be creating a new part. So because it's touching multiple parts, it's assuming I want to add it to a new existing solid, but I don't. I want to create a new solid. And this one I'm just going to extend beyond the edge because I'm using it to subtract from the leg. So that's all for now. I'm going to choose the check mark. And now I need to create another sketch, which is I'm going to create a cylinder that will be attached to the body. This will all make sense in just a little bit. So I want to choose this same plane. I'm going to hide my solid so I can not be distracted by that cylinder. I'm going to do the exact same thing here. Attach a line and then dimension that as 10 millimeters. Then create a circle at the midpoint. And then this one's going to be smaller. So it's going to be, let's do 4 millimeters. That will give me a 1/2 millimeter clearance on either side of the circle. I'm done with that sketch, and then I'm going to extrude this, both halves, reverse the direction. This one I do want to have it attached to the body, so I want to add it to the body. So right now there's something wrong with the merge scope, so I want to merge with this body, and then I want to extrude this up to this edge here. So I'm going to, instead of blind, I'm going to choose up to vertex. I can choose a vertex in my drawing and it will extrude up to that point. I can click the check mark. So now I've added that to my body. I'm going to hide that for now just so I can focus on the leg. And so what I want to do with this is I'm using the cylinder to subtract from the leg. So I'm going to use the boolean operation. The tool is going to be this cylinder. I want to subtract. The target is going to be the leg. And I do not want to keep the tools. So if I keep it, it will just keep the cylinder there. I'm going to deselect that so that it disappears after I use it. So now I'm going to reveal the body, and let me just change the view so you can see through it a little bit. Now you can see inside here the leg opening is larger than the rod that it's going to eventually spin around to be able to move. So that's a basic hinge joint. I just need to mirror this other leg over there. So I'm going to go ahead and click on the mirror tool. Entities to mirror would be the leg. The mirror plane, let me go ahead and reveal my planes here. The drawing plane I want to use is the right plane. So it's this one here. So go ahead and click that. Let's go ahead and click right. Oops. I have to click on the option first and choose the right plane. We're going to mirror that over there. Click the check mark. So now I have two legs. And now we're going to focus on, so that's the hinge joint. I need to focus on the socket. So I'm going to go back to my drawing. I'm going to go ahead and hide my solids for a moment. I'm going to go back to, so I have my sketch visible. I'm going to create a new sketch on the top plane. And let's go ahead and view normal to that plane. Whoops. Just want to go over here. So I'm going to create a ball and socket joint here for the shoulder. So I'm going to just place a guide line here. So construction line. About where I want the shoulder to be, about right here. And I'm going to make a point here where I want the center of the circle for my sphere to be. So I'm going to guess about right here. Now I'm going to create a circle, and this may be too large, so let's go ahead and escape out of that. So I dimension this a little bit smaller. Let's do, and then I'm going to grab a circle tool, and I will purposely want some of the circle outside. So let's go ahead and make this one a radius of 6, or diameter of 6. And then I'm going to create a sphere by dividing this in half with a line. So I need to have the line, grab that, just referencing that with a dotted line until I get coincident with the edge. I'm going to click there and then draw a straight line down to intersect with the other side of the circle there. So now I've divided it in half. I have two different regions here. Now I'm going to revolve 1/2. So I want to get rid of this, just do one face. Let's do this one. And choose the revolve axis as the center line. Now I've just created a sphere. I'm going to click the check mark. This is a new solid, and I'm just going to hide that for now. So that one was 6 millimeters. The next one I'm going to create is a little bit larger to give some space. So I'm going to do the exact same thing. Sketch, same plane, the top plane. I'll do a little construction line here. Actually, I need to reveal the other sketch to get in the same spot. Sketch 4 is the one I want. So now I have the construction line I can reference there. Let's go ahead and just grab a circle. And this one's going to be larger. So let's make this one 7. Oh, that's construction line. Go ahead and switch that over. Whoops. There we go. Then I need to draw my line to divide it in half. And I'll hide the other sketch. I'm going to revolve this. I want to make sure I just have half. The revolve axis is the line. The check mark. So now I have two spheres. One is larger than the other. Part 5 is larger than part 4. So part 5 I'm going to use to subtract from the body. So I'm going to hide part 4 for now and reveal the body. And I actually want to have one of these on either side, so I'm going to mirror that over, select the sphere, and then select the mirror plane as the right plane. So now I should have 2. Click the check mark. And then I'm going to use the boolean function and to subtract. The tools I'm going to use are the 2 spheres. So I'm going to use that. And this one over here. Whoops, I just deselected it. Oh, I added somehow. Okay, let me get back. So when I mirrored the mirror part, it added to the body. So I want those to be new parts. Alright, so those are separate. So now I should be able to subtract with the boolean. So the tools I'm going to use are the spheres. Then the target is going to be the body. You should be able to see that there is now a sphere-shaped hole in there. Click the check mark. And now you can see I'm going to reveal part 4, which is just the other sphere that's inside there. So now if I attach something to this sphere, my arm specifically, it will be able to rotate in there. So now what I need to do is model an arm. So let's go ahead and get back into my sketch. Let's reveal sketch 1, which is the body. Oh, it's already revealed. Let me go ahead and hide the solids. Alright, so let's go ahead and create another sketch. We're going to be on the top plane again. And for some reason there is a sketch 4 is the one that has the sphere that I'm attaching to. Okay, and let me go ahead and press the P key and then view normal sketch. So this is where I want to draw my arm. I'm just going to use a basic rectangle tool. And let me go ahead and attach it. Let's say about right there. I'll zoom out so I can see what a normal length of an arm would be. Say about right there. So now I have an arm, and I'm going to accept the sketch, extrude this. I want it to be symmetrical, and let's do, the leg was 8, so let's do 5. See what that looks like. That looks pretty good. Click the check mark. So now I have an arm, and I have part 4, which is the sphere that the arm attaches to. So I need to combine these two parts together. So I'm going to use a boolean function, use union. I'm going to choose these two parts. So now we're combining those two together into one solid. Click the check mark. So now that arm should be able to spin around inside the body. So let's go ahead and reveal the body. And then the 2 legs. So that fits inside there, and that should be able to rotate around. What I need to do now is just mirror this on the other side. This is the object I want to mirror. And then my mirror plane is going to be the right plane. So now I have 2 arms and 2 legs, and they should be able to be moved. The last thing I would do would be the same thing I did for the arm. I would create a cylinder, not cylinder, a sphere inside the body right about here, and then attach the head to the sphere. There could be like a little neck part too, if I wanted to do that. But for now, those are all the concepts that you need in order to create your robot. So we're using 2 different kinds of joints. This is a hinge joint, and then this is a ball and socket joint. And you could do multiple joints if you wanted to have it bend at the knees. You could create another joint here. You could have it have a hinge joint at the elbow as well. So now that you know conceptually how to make it work, just be creative, and I should expect that you have something that looks a little bit different. Some of the technical things are this would not be able to rotate because you have a square inside a square opening. So you need to have this edge rounded. There's a tool for that. So you want to use this tool, the fillet tool, or fillet tool. That will allow you to round the edge. Go ahead and select all the edges here. So now that leg would be able to move inside that hinge joint. So this should help you get started if you haven't already started. And you have a couple more periods to finish this project. So just be creative and let me know if you have any questions.